This is Glenn Hughes, the voice of rock, and you're listening to Music Mania.
You ready for some screaming heavy metal? We rock! But the evil that men do, then done. We gonna bang your head!
You are now listening to the Music Mania podcast, brought to you by CD Warehouse in Gladstone, the #1 hard rock podcast in the Midwest, featuring hard-hitting interviews with rock's living legends. And now, here's your host, Clint Switzer.
Welcome to the first Music Mania podcast in a couple of weeks. I am your host, Clint Switzer. We've got a special one today, as we are all soldiers under God's command on this podcast as we get set to welcome Michael Sweet back to the show. It's been about a year and a half since we had Michael on, probably closer to 2 years. He was just getting ready to release his solo album, One-Sided War, when we had him on last. Now Stryper is set to release their latest album. It is Goddamn Evil. It comes out April 20th via Frontiers Music. Everybody's talking about the new single, the new video on YouTube, which is Sorry. It is an awesome song, very hard driving, very heavy, melodic, infectious chorus. Stryper's at the top of their game. They're as in demand as ever, and it's great to see them, still attaining success. Of course, they got Perry Richardson in the band now, who has replaced Timothy Gaines, and they seem to be a really good fit. Perry is a great guy, loved his work in Firehouse, and now he's continuing his career in Stryper, and it's great to see that. And I tell you what, I have not had a podcast in a couple of weeks. We had Rick Rule from Every Mother's Nightmare on a few weeks ago, but in the meantime, I have been traveling 4 concerts in a 7-day span for me, so I've been all around the country, from Kansas City to Council Bluffs, Iowa, to Las Vegas, to Springfield, Missouri, where I caught Styx and REO Speedwagon a couple weeks ago, and then up in Council Bluffs, Brett Michaels, Warrant, Dokken, Lita Ford, and Firehouse. Was great to catch up with some of the guys up there. Bill Leverty from Firehouse, we were able to get an interview with him that aired a couple weeks ago. And then down in Vegas, 2 shows, Raiding the Rock Vault, which I highly recommend. You can read my review of that show and all these shows on our website, musicmaniapodcast.com. And also caught Schinkerfest, Michael Schinkerfest in Las Vegas at the House of Blues. What an awesome time that was, seeing Michael Schenker with the 3 original MSG singers, Graham Bonnet, Gary Barden, and Robin McCauley. That was just a great experience, seeing Michael live for the first time. So I have been out about and in the stratosphere, so to speak. So it's been a busy time. I tell you, it is great to be back here doing a podcast for you, and we can't thank Michael Sweet enough for joining us here. And I tell you what, we always appreciate the feedback at musicmania_show on Twitter. Always appreciate you pressing that subscribe button on YouTube or iTunes. That's what keeps us going. We love the interaction. We always appreciate it if you have a guest you'd like to hear from, someone you think we should have on the show. Drop us a line and we will do whatever we can to make that happen for you. A lot of big things coming up, guys. The concert season is just kicking off. I've been to 4 shows in 7 days, and yet it's only April. Guys, we have so much coming up. It's going to be a crazy summer, a wild summer. I know a lot of you guys are going to be out enjoying shows. We always love to see your pictures from concerts, your reviews from concerts. Send them over to us at musicmaniapodcast@gmail.com. We'll put them up on the website. Always appreciate that. And before we bring on our guest this week, I want to tell you about our sponsor, CD Warehouse in Gladstone, Missouri. For over 22 years, they are a staple of the Northland. I tell you, I've bought 95% of the music I still own today from CD Warehouse. They buy, sell, and trade CDs, DVDs, vinyl, and more. Guys, do not let the record stores go by the wayside. This is the place for you. This is the great atmosphere. This is the good deals. Go see our buddy Randy Ringer at CD Warehouse in Gladstone. He will give you a discount, or it's on us.
Michael Sweet here. How are you?
Michael, it is so great to have you. Thanks for calling in, man. It's been a while. It's been a couple years since we've had you on. How's everything going? I know things are really heating up for you in the Stryper camp here, man.
Yeah, everything's great. We're staying busy and we're crazy, and we're prepping for the tour. and the album, and we couldn't be happier, man. It's pretty awesome.
It is, and I think I just saw literally a few minutes before you called that you guys are going to be You're going to be playing at kicking off the tour at M3 this year. What a great show that is! That's going to be awesome. I mean, this thing, you guys got dates all through the summer. Really going to be a big summer for Stryper coming off this new album, and M3. That's going to be huge for you guys. It's just got to be really exciting right now.
It really is, man. We're very blessed to still be doing what we love, and not only doing it, but to some degree, we feel like we're thriving, and things are really going in an incredible direction, and like things are on fire. Basically, is what it feels like to us.
Well, you've been one of the busier people in rock for the last couple years, Michael. I mean, you released a solo album, One Sided War. You did another album with George Lynch called Unified, which is awesome. And then Stryper's Goddamn Evil is going to come out on April the 20th, just in a few weeks here. Where do you find time for all this, my man? This is some crazy productivity here. I envy it, and I need to get on board. How do you make it happen?
Well, it's just a matter of, I guess, doing it. A lot of people talk about things. I used to be one of those guys where I would just talk about it. Hey, wouldn't it be great if we did this? And we never did it. And now I just apply what I'm saying to what I'm doing. And the minute I say, hey, wouldn't it be great if we re-record an album? I get on the phone and I start making phone calls and saying, hey, are you interested in being a part of this? Yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. I call the studio. Hey, what do you have open? Well, I've got, in 3 months, I've got 2 weeks open. Cool, put us in, man, we'll be in. I just kind of, follow the lead and make it happen.
How big is it for you guys? Because, you got the video that just came out a couple weeks ago for Sorry, which is just a great hard rock, hard driving song. Talk about that song, what kind of the reception you've been getting since the video came out a couple weeks ago. Of course, all this is via Frontiers Music. Awesome video, great song. Kind of talk about the reception for that so far.
Well, I mean, it's been overwhelming. We've seen a great response, not only for Sorry, but for Take It to the Cross as well. And, it's, even if it's bad or good, and there is bad and good. There are people that hate Take It to the Cross and people that love it. And that's why we release Sorry, because it's more of a what's to be expected from the band kind of song. But man, the response has been off the charts. I mean, we're very happy, and so is the label with the buzz that's going and the talk and everything that's going on, and the reviews have been amazing, and the album's not even out yet. So it feels like it's going to be a really good album for us, and a great release, and one of the better ones in recent years, for sure.
We'll talk about the inclusion of bassist Perry Richardson. I think this is a guy who seems like just a great fit for Stryper. Really love seeing him in the new video, and just seeing him kind of gain his footing and being more of a part of things. Talk about his inclusion and just what he's bringing to the band right now.
There's nothing like working with people that you want to work with, and that are on board, and that are team players, and that you love. And Perry's that guy. Perry is just an amazing person. He walks in the room, and you feel his presence in a good way. He brings his spirit, this joyful spirit, into the room, and you want to be around that. And so he's brought that, which we love, and then we heard him play and heard him sing, and super talented guy. He's got the coolest hair in the business,
He does.
And he's just a perfect fit for us. We wouldn't find a better person to be in this band, or a better fit for what we're doing, than Perry Richardson. No way.
Well, this, looking back to, you guys released Reborn back in 2005. Since then, this is going to be your 7th album. Just talk about how important that recording new music has been for this band, kind of in this new era in the last 13 years that you guys have kind of come back and been a part of things. How important is recording new music for Stryper and for you personally?
Well, to me, it's everything, because music is what brought me this passion. I've always loved music. It's why I wanted to be in a band. It's why I wanted to do this and tour and reach people and talk to people and meet people. And it all comes back to music. So if you stop doing music and stop recording music, you're kind of losing your soul. and losing your purpose. So that's why you see so much music from Stryper, because it's very important to us to be able to express ourselves and create music, and to try to, through that music, inspire and encourage people. To me, that's what it's all about. The music is awesome, but to meet someone that you've inspired or their lives have been changed by the music, that's everything.
Well, you talk about the title of the new album, Goddamn Evil. It's one that jumps out at you. You go, whoa, that, especially coming from Stryper. But, as I've read some of your other interviews and seen some of the things you've talked about, it makes perfect sense, because basically what you're saying about this album and the ideals behind it is that it's basically a prayer request for what's going on in the world today, correct?
It is. It's a prayer request from us, and we're asking God to damn evil. A lot of people have taken it the wrong way and said that we're swearing or we're being blasphemous or using his name in vain or just trying to be controversial. And, they think they've got it all figured out. They know better than we do what we're trying to say. And, that's the world we live in. People are very opinionated and judgmental, and they think that they know it all, and they know what the person or the artist is doing better than they know. And it's interesting to me. And we've explained what we mean by it. We've posted the lyrics, and, there's not really much else we can do other than just hope that those people either get it or they won't.
I've always found that the people that are first to criticize creativity tend to be people that aren't all that creative themselves. That's kind of what I found in my years. I don't know if that's the same in the music world, but
pretty much. Yeah. I have found that too. Or they are creative, but they just haven't been successful at it. Sure. Maybe there's a little envy going on, or jealousy, or I really don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, but you can sit all day long and try to guess and try to figure out what it is, and then you realize you're just wasting your time.
Well, I want to talk.
And that's the thing about me. Although I'm very active on social media, I'm a doer, and it doesn't keep me from getting things done. And I hope my track record kind of proves that. I get stuff done, and I've got a lot left to do, and I'm not going to let things distract me from doing that.
Absolutely, and like we've talked about the production you've had over the last few years. I loved the solo album, One-Sided War. I'm a huge fan of your collaboration with George Lynch, one of the great guitarists of all time. Just talk about him and the chemistry you guys have, because this is your second album you've done together. What is it about his playing, your voice, your collaboration? It just seems like amazing chemistry when you two are recording or on stage together.
Well, I think it's a perfect fit. George comes from Dokken, and I come from Stryper. And, if you go back and you look at the bands and compare them, there were a lot of similarities. We were really into guitar, obviously. We were really into vocals and melodies, really into that style of writing the songs themselves. So there's a lot of similarities, and it just made perfect sense for George and I to work together. We approach the song very similar, and the way he writes, the way I write, we think of melodies, we think of singing, we think of that aspect, and I think because of that, when you put the two of us together, it just works. It's like a perfect fit. And I really think that there's more to come from us. I don't know exactly when or where, but I love working with George, and hopefully there's going to be another killer album in the works relatively soon.
Well, speaking of working with great guitarists, I've heard tale. You can just set it clear right here. You've talked about doing an album with Joel Hoekstra, who's an alumnus of this show, a good friend of our shows, great guitar player, of course, from Whitesnake. Talk about that, maybe what that's going to be coming up, and when can we expect to hear something from that?
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about it for probably 3 years now. And that's the crazy part of it. And it just hasn't transpired yet because of scheduling and just trying to make it work and figure it out. Joel's a very busy guy. I'm a busy guy, and it makes it hard. But we're doing it. Last time we talked about it was on Monsters of Rock cruise. He came up and jammed with me, and we talked about it backstage. And we're going to start writing for it at the end of this year. And that's the plan. At the very latest, the beginning of next year, we'll be writing the album. And we're going to just make it happen and do it and get it done instead of talking about it. At this point, it's becoming, a little redundant that it's just talk, but we haven't been able to actually make it happen. But we're gonna make it happen, and I think it's gonna be. I'll go as far as to say that I would think that it'll be the best album that we've ever done. You know, I think that he's done and that I've done it, and I think when it's recorded and people hear it, it's going to be slamming. And you know, to give you a little taste of that, you can kind of hear some of what we can do together on my last solo album. You know, on radio, and you know, Joel brings this really cool gift to the table, and it kind of takes the song to a new level.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael, we're so excited. We've got Stryper in town here in Kansas City, May 25th at the Star Pavilion at Ameristar. All the dates are listed on Stryper.com. You can pre-order the new album, which is Goddamn Evil, and it's going to be a big one for you guys. I know that, and I'm so excited for all the success and all the things that you've been able to accomplish here in the last few years, and we look forward to more. Michael, thank you so much. We'll catch up soon. We'll see you in Kansas City here on May 25th, my man.
Thank you, my friend. God bless you, man. Really appreciate everything.
God bless you, too. Thank you so much.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Always great to speak with Michael. He's a straight-ahead guy, tells it like it is, and it's, always a pleasure for us to have him, and we thank him for joining us to talk about the new album. Of course, he's talking about the title of the album, Goddamn Evil, talking about God damning the evil that exists in the world today, and I think that's it makes a statement. When you see that title, when you see that album, you're like, wow, it really stands out, especially for a band that's known traditionally as a Christian band like Stryper. They are preaching the positive messages still to this day, and without Timothy Gaines in the band, they've got Perry Richardson on bass, and I think that the band has solidified itself. And Michael Sweet, just one of the busiest guys in rock. Of course, he did the album with George Lynch last year called Unified. That was their second album under the Sweet and Lynch moniker. He had a solo album out in 2016, followed by a live acoustic album. So Michael is just a guy, and of course we talked about him doing an album with Joel Hoekstra, friend of our show's coming up. Michael's a great guy. Controversial at times. I think he's a guy that tells it like it is, and because of his association, with Stryper and Christianity, that maybe he gets held to a higher standard for things he says or does, and maybe that's not fair, but he's someone that'll tell it, he tells it like it is. I appreciate that about him, and I appreciate him being a friend of the show's. Guys, we are really excited. We are off. We are running. It is going to be summer. The cold weather is almost behind us. We are going to be out enjoying cold beverages, enjoying our friends, and enjoying live music. That's what it's all about. We hope that you continue to do that as we do here on the Music Mania podcast. On this show, you know the songs. We're here to tell you the stories, and that's what I'm going to continue to do throughout this summer, and hopefully for summers to come. Next week, guys, we are going to be joined by none other than Bumblefoot from Sons of Apollo, formerly Guns N' Roses. He's going to be calling in from Brazil as Sons of Apollo's out on the road right now. So that's what's to look for next week. And beyond that, we have a lot of big things coming up. So stay tuned, stay with us. Your money stays and plays right here on the Music Mania podcast.